So Jay, in the last year, and Cognizant has done a lot of work on market trends analysis. I think yeah, actually, did you do a study on that?
Correct.
And so what came out of that?
So we just completed our 2014 Traveler Survey, and that survey polled a number of folks around the globe with their likes and dislikes to understand in the airline industry, restaurant industry, hotel industry, and car rental industry. We polled 4,000 people in the casual dining and fast food dining arena in the United States, UK, Germany, and China.
So when you say that you polled and you did this study, did somebody actually pay for you guys to do that study, or just did it because you needed to do a market analysis?
We actually did this because our customers have been asking us for it. Our clients have been asking us, what do we see out there? Cognizant is typically systems integration, business process outsourcing, but our customers have been asking us over the last few years, what different is happening out there? What can you help us to understand from the customer's perspective is happening at the front end of the experience, so we can make the right technology decisions with you later on down the road?
So it's really sort of changing the role, or at least changing the way that you want customers to think about Cognizant.
We did the survey for our clients, not as a means to cause a different level of thinking about Cognizant. Has it caused a different level of thinking about Cognizant? Yes. Has it moved us into different offices within our clients because of the study? Yes.
Okay, so you have your traditional services, the way that people think of Cognizant in general. You did a market study for the customers, and you gave feedback. It obviously has helped you to grow the business in some new areas. How do you see Cognizant's positioning in the industry changing then, based upon what you learned and then what your customers are telling you?
So our traditional positioning, again, of SI and BPO remains the same, constant, continues to grow. This year we crossed the $10 billion mark in revenue for our traditional services. But again, there's a small practice of 4,000 people, over $500 million in revenue. They're being asked by executives, what more can we do from a customer perspective? What can you teach us from the various industry verticals that you're working in that are not our industry, so that are not in the restaurant space, that we can bring to the restaurant arena to help us? So they're asking us to move up the food chain, if you would, in interaction with them.
All right, so we're talking about the food chain. They're asking you to move up, offer some new products and services and things. But when people think about Cognizant, traditionally you have a great scorecard of some very big companies and clients.
Correct.
But is there an opportunity out there for the smaller companies to leverage this as well?
Absolutely. First, the study that we've done is available to everybody. So we've done it for our existing clients, and it's going to be posted and available out there very soon. Can smaller companies use our study? Yes. Can we begin to work with some of those smaller companies? Absolutely.
So you see Cognizant as shifting to being able to actually work and provide services for smaller companies?
Yes.
In the traditional area, and then also in other types of consultative role, or?
Correct. I mean, when we talk about smaller companies, we need to make sure the scale. Cognizant is not equipped to deal with Jenny's Pizza, for example. Jenny's Pizza is a great little franchise.
$75 a week.
But we're not ready to deal with companies that small today.
Okay. But as they grow, you want to be there and help them to grow, and you'll give them the market trend to figure out where it's going to go. Okay, so customer information and loyalty. So that's a big thing that keeps coming up on and on, here. And where do you see your role, or what are you learning about all the data behind that, and about what it really takes for this industry to get into loyalty?
Well, let me broaden loyalty out to customer centricity.
Okay.
So we've been focused in 4 areas over the past couple of years, which now rolls up into one larger: social, mobile, analytics, and cloud. We call it SMAC. Not the stuff you get out on Bourbon Street, but the way you can use technology.
I call that a hurricane.
Okay, that's tonight. So in the areas of social, mobile, analytics, and cloud, we're very focused on these 4 areas, and the survey itself and the activity out there suggest in these 4 areas: 1, social customers are demanding, especially your customers in the age group of 26 to 35 are demanding that interaction in the social media space. Mobile, who'd have thought 8 years ago that anybody would ever do anything from a device 3.5 inches in diameter. Nobody ever thought we would buy airline tickets. Nobody ever thought we would order our pizza in advance. Nobody knew.
I think in North America they didn't know. Because handhelds in Japan and some other, and France and things, I think 20 some odd years.
Correct.
But it's finally coming here to the US.
Correct. But nobody ever knew the magnitude of dollars that could be transacted over these devices. From an analytics perspective, it's about understanding the data and using the data. So when you mentioned loyalty a couple minutes ago, our goal is to help our clients create true business intelligence from the data that's out there, begin to predict and begin to plow that information back into the interactions to create more, to enhance the purchase, to go from one item to two items, as some of our previous folks have mentioned.
Is your role in that all behind the scenes to manage the data side of it, or are you actually having some sort of guest and customer connection as well?
Most of it is behind the scenes right now, but the behind the scenes work winds itself or works its way to the front of the house operation eventually.
Right, so there is a connection that you have directly to the people that work in the operations that you have a connection for,
yes.
And then to the consumer themselves, is there a
Correct.
connection as well?
So we are looking to connect operations to consumer.
But you're enabling them, or are you actually going to help provide that service?
We are not in the service providing business right now, so we are still an enabler. So if we can help develop the right strategy, the right roadmaps, the right plans, then we can use the technology as the enabler, bring it to life for the organization.
So of the specific products and services that you're offering, and I assume you're offering them on a global basis.
Correct.
Right? So what are the key areas that are really the opportunity areas for the food service industry to take advantage of?
Okay. One of the key areas that we've been focused on with a number of our clients, not just in restaurants and food service, but across all of our industry verticals, is our area of business intelligence and analytics. There's a lot of data out there, and I'm sure everybody will hear about data from the beginning of this conference to the end of the conference. The question is, are you using the data in the right way? Are you taking the data, reporting it in the most efficient and effective mean? Are you using the data to figure out what comes next? Are you using the data to understand your customer, not just for when they're transacting with you, but our previous keynote speaker mentioned inspiration on the back end of the transaction. We're actually figuring out ways to use data to inspire on the front end of the transaction.
You know, it's interesting the way that you've just described this, because if I think back a year or two, you know, big data, you know, everybody's talking about how they're going to collect the data, where they're going to store the data, how they're going to secure the data. But really, you're not talking about that. You're really talking about the strategy of how they're going to use the data.
Correct.
And our speaker before was actually talking about that as well, so how to use that. So it's really a shift.
Correct. We found everybody is in data 2.0 reboot. Everybody's got the data warehouse. Everybody has the means to get in and out of the data warehouse. But nobody thought in the first iteration of data implementation how that data would be used and how to turn the data into knowledge that could then be turned into revenue.
Right. And so just to get back to that, we understand that you're providing the tools to do this, but you're also providing that knowledge to slice and dice and actually give some workable solutions back.
Correct. We are.
Now, I did notice, you know, you have a great long title. Yeah, so you cover travel and hospitality, which of course we're here for food service. Is there something you want to share with us from the travel industry or the hotel side of the industry that you think we should be learning from here, from your travels?
That's a great question. So historically, I'm an airline person from 25 years ago. The airline industry, from a loyalty perspective, figured this out 30 years ago, that loyalty was first about freebies. They've changed that whole model. It's not about giving away free air travel anymore. It's about using the information. It's about rewarding people based on the value they create for the organization. Hotels and then restaurants typically lag way behind the airline industry as far as loyalty goes. Lag behind the industry as far as data usage goes. Lag behind as far as customer experience goes. There's a lot of learnings out there in the combination of airline, hotel, rental car, and restaurants that restaurants.
So people seem to, in those particular industries, and I fly and travel a lot, as many of us do, it's about instant gratification, doing something right then and there rather than saying, here are points to use later.
Correct.
And so that's what the airline industry and hotel industry is figuring out, and that's what you figure the food service industry will
Well,
come
and they figured out, let's not give away freebies and create financial liabilities on the books. Let's interact with the customers that are meaningful to us and have a better interaction.
take care of them when they're there.
Correct.